Hey guys, is anybody here? I was gonna wait a minute. Here comes Mark. Mark, we're live.
Oh, good. Better than being dead. Yeah, you can smell the stench from over here.
Hello. Hello from Texas. Hi, Linda. Hi.
Doggone it.
All right, hold on, Mark.
It's alright. It's okay. I'm just dealing with reality.
Hi, guys. Sorry I haven't been live. It's been we've had a really hard time. I mean, so much to be grateful for, but it's been a really hard time too. For starters, after I got the puppy, once we finally made it to Texas, what we had done is we had put the most kind of, those last minute, most critical things that you set aside, like tools, the vacuum cleaner, in my case, a bunch of dog gates, dog pants, pretty much stuff to do with the dogs, all their vet records. Fortunately, I had moved their food and medicine to the back seat, so I had that, which is really great. But when I got here, something had happened to the trunk latch. Something must have been jammed or something, and the trunk wouldn't open. So I was at the house with just me and the dogs, and not a lot of things to care for the dogs. So that was really tough. But we worked through it. I was grateful I had their medicine and their food. So I just had dogs running loose in a perfectly clean house with limited dog pants. So there was a lot of drama. But the sad thing is that Checker started to decline last week. And it was pretty rapid. I thought I was going to lose him over the weekend, and he made it till Monday morning, and I took him to the vet. He got on IV fluids, but he just was not, he was really suffering hard. And so I had to put Checkers down. That's why I haven't gone live. It's because it's been such a downer, and I didn't want to add to all the sadness. Sorry for crying again. It's just, being animals. And I always say, I can feel Checkers. I had a very strong emotional connection to that dog. And he did to me. Anyway, so I lost Checkers. And the insult to injury was his vet records were in the back of my trunk. And I couldn't get to them. And so fortunately, I'm in Texas, so he was able to go to the vet that had seen him before. But we just didn't have on hand, because he's seen multiple vets over the years being in rescue, and I have the paper copy, and they didn't have access to that. So that was just really, really hard. But then, if you could imagine, I had a bag of all the stinky, dirty dog pant laundry in the trunk, and some food, and all their stinky dog gates that they soil. And so my car has smelled like a sewer, or like a really horrible, stenchy thing because of it. But, so after 10, and then so we called a locksmith, and they came out, and they were going to charge us $320 to try to get the trunk undone. And we ended up having to pay them just to come out and see us, and sent them on their way.
$20.
Yeah, fortunately it was just $20, but still it didn't get us any further down the road. And then I took it to a shop that has seen our car before, and they would have to do, they said 1 to 2 hours and plus some electrical tests. And so that was going to be $319. So that didn't. Sorry guys. It lost power, but I got it to resume. Anyway, I don't even know where I was when all of a sudden I lost it. So here, let me show you. So I was able to open this tiny little ski hole in the back seat, but it was jam-packed, and I mean jam-packed, all the way to the roof. These gates went all the way up. but I slowly was able to wedge my arm up in that direction and finally got a bunch of the debris out. Let's see if I can see your comments here. Sorry, terrible view. I'm now tethered here. So there are latches at the back of the trunk, but at the way back, I could get my arm back far enough to touch the latches, but I could not actually. I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm having troubles even now. But I couldn't grab them and open them. So finally, after. Oh, and the instruction manual that shows you where all the features of the car was in the trunk. So it's been this like ongoing 12-day puzzle. And I finally took a paint stick. It was a total Justin MacGyver move here. I don't know if I can show you. It's all tangled up. Sorry. So I had to plug the phone in. There. I took a paint stick, and with the end off, there's a little wood in there, and I took a big teacup hook, but the emergency pull-down tab that's at the way back, it's flush, so I couldn't get behind it. So then I opened up the cup hook, and would you believe it worked, and we were able to pop the trunk. And so I was like, okay, I know things have been tough, but this is going to give me reason to celebrate, at least. Now, I wanted to show you, because when I pack, it's like this weird savant thing, like Tetris. I'm able to just pack an insane amount of stuff, and so that was part of the challenge, is that trunk was so packed you couldn't even get back to it. But one by one, I was so close, sorry. One by one, I was able to feed all this stuff through that tiny little gap. Literally the gap was probably 1.5 inches tall by, 6 or 7 inches wide. But I was able to do it. Let me see if I can get Mark. Oh, I think he's gone inside. I want to go outside, but I don't want to lose you again. And I don't know how much battery I have. It just says it's charging. I would go use the other one, but let's see. All right, I'm going to set you down for a second. I realize it's so not interesting, but then again, this is the reality of this right now. So I'm just going to see if I can grab, oh yeah, and then our emergency backup power thing was in the trunk too. That's what I'm going to go grab. So I'm sorry, but it's going to be kind of just a strange view for a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's just see if my Halo has an adapter that I can use. And I don't think it does. That's too bad. Well, I'll try to unplug you. Let me turn it around and I'll show you. So I could lose you again. This was their to-go bag. think that's what caused. Oh, turn around again. I think that's what caused the jam in the first place. So sorry, I'm all over the place right now. It's mostly because my silly. Are you at hook to your Bluetooth in the car? Oh, maybe I am. Can you hear me at all? Right, I was. It did. Can you guys hear me at all? Can you hear me? Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah, so sorry about that. When suddenly the phone died, it got me all discombobulated. Oh boy, the stress. So, and then, because the vice president of the rescue, she was traveling, I knew that, or she had asked me if I would just watch Teddy until she got back in town, which was like 9 days or something. It wasn't a huge deal, but that was just the day after we lost Checkers. And even though I only had that Teddy that little bit of time, he was he's a puppy, and I'm not used to puppies, like super high energy, right? And so then I met her and passed off Teddy for the rescue, and so it was hard. So that was hard too, even though I'm excited for Teddy. He was just such a happy little dog, right? And most of my dogs are more like me, like Eeyore. Like, they walk around with dirge background music, da 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 da, all kind of sad. Well, Checkers was the most Eeyore of them all. Oh, you couldn't hear most of the stuff. Yeah, I wish I knew how much power I had. So, yeah, so basically, before we left Pennsylvania, I had every inch of this car packed up. And then when I picked up Teddy, they had more stuff. So I tried to squeeze it into the trunk, and I did. But then when I got here, I couldn't open the trunk. And we had packed, they say to have stuff set aside. So when you first get there, you have the important stuff that you need. Fortunately, I had my keys to the house in my purse, so that was good. And like I said, I did have their food and medicine in the main part of the car. But all their vet records and like dog pats. So I literally was like having to use the same diaper and just change the liner. And no dog gate, so I couldn't, like, they had a free-for-all in the house that we had just fixed up, so it was a little stressful. Oops. But we're just outside of Dallas in Forney. It's Kaufman County. Oh, Cindy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. As if you saw the beginning of this, just talking about him makes me cry. Still, don't really know what happened to Checkers. He just, he was already losing his sight and his hearing, and he's getting super grouchy, and he was older. Now that I have the trunk open, I can look up his vet records. In fact, let's go. I don't really know. Just because I have so many seniors, and sometimes with a lot of rescues, you don't know what their actual ages are. So let's just see. Because actually, I've been wondering myself. I know that they saw they had a record, but they get so many rescues in that sometimes the ages and dates aren't totally up to snuff. So here's Checkers folder. Let's see what we can find. So this was the Mercy record. I want to go back. And they were so good to us. Mercy was so good to us. This goes way back too. what I'm looking for is some way back to some of his original paperwork. But you know what? We may not even have his original paperwork. I think that some of it, Checkers had been adopted, and then his adopter passed away from COVID, and he bounced back to the rescue, and that's when we said we were just going to keep him as a forever foster. So, but we think he was like 14, 15, around there. So that, the one, I'm sorry, I'm not even showing you the record. So that would make him 13. I think he was 14. Centerville Road. Yeah, I think he was 14. He was 14 on the most recent paperwork. But like I said, his original paperwork was, so he was 13 in 2023. Yeah, so he was 14. Yeah. Anyway, so that was some of the drama, and some of why I didn't go live as quickly as I had intended. That, and then there's just been, I've been working really long hours the last few days, so it's been too much. And so, and the house feels quieter. You know, it's amazing how one animal can really change the dynamic of the whole, I almost said herd, the whole pack. Yeah. But, yeah. All right, so now I have his paperwork like all over the place, a big old mess here. But I'll take you inside to see the other ones that are happy and doing well. Should we do that? Something a little happier than me just sitting in my car crying about a lost dog? And that'll give this car a chance to like get the stink off. Ooh, it really is very unpleasant in here. Well, because it's plastic. You know how sometimes plastic gets a really bad smell too? So, other than, yeah, so then this is what happened to the garage. It went from being really nice to that. So we've already, like, even though a lot of my things that I still had here were nice, we're still going to get rid of them. Oh, but you guys will appreciate this. Let's see how it's doing. So my plants made it. Now, this particular blossom has faded, but that's the same blossom we just saw in Pennsylvania. It's finally starting to fade, but here it is in Texas. It made it. Isn't that cool? And there's some of the boxwoods and the lavender. A couple of the lavenders, they were not doing well in PA, and they didn't handle the trip well. But, like, there's the hydrangea. So that one's doing really well. And then that tree, too. And let's go see some puppies. Are there puppies in here? Hi, Shiloh. Hi, Sugar. Hi, Concho. So yeah, so they look at that, and there's Asher. Yay! Yeah, back in the house. I'm still live. Yeah, I was gonna try to find the. Hold on. You need to get dressed. Oh, Mark says he needs to get dressed. No, he's dressed. Look at this. See now, all the dogs are barking. Oh, it looks like somebody made another poopy. Because, you know, he's paralyzed, so he can't control his poopies. So he just has... Are you talking about me or the dog? You. Yeah. I was talking about Mark. I wish I knew where my charger was. Could you grab your charger so I can use it? So I don't...
Where's all your stuff, honey? Is it all gone?
No. We had another... Okay, so then on top of everything else, we had another showing yesterday. So everything that we had brought into the house and started to move in or move back in, then all of a sudden we had to like pack everything back up, which completely sucked. Let me see if I have a charger in here. So here's where, yeah, they do look happy, don't they? Yeah, I was hoping I maybe have, that's where I work. I know it's quiet in here, huh? Yes, the home is nice. It's finished. It's plenty big for our puppy family. But, oh, thank you, honey. Will you plug it in for me, please? Sorry, we're having to do a little backup plan. Do I smell after sitting in the car?
I think that odor may have followed you into the...
So, Mark, what does it smell like, the car? What does it smell like?
God, it's like rotten feet wrapped in bacon.
Oh, gosh.
With a side order of rotten fruit.
I thought it smells like stinky, like pee, vinegary pee.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's really good.
We have no idea what we'll do if it sells now.
To make extra money, we're gonna bottle this up as a fragrance. We'll be selling it.
Oh my gosh! Oh, and then so there's the table that we picked up while we were in Pennsylvania. So we switched that out, which is kind of nice.
We did.
All right, this doesn't say it's charging. Oh, I guess it's because I have to turn it on.
You should turn it on. Good.
Oh, there we go.
Is it working?
Let me try again. Huh. No, it's not working.
It's not working?
That's very weird. Huh. All right, guys, so we're going to have to go in the room here, and you're going to see the big guy, Poncho. Oh, he's out. So Poncho's out. All right, so this room normally looks really quite beautiful, but we have to, cover everything with this blanket just to protect it, and all of our good pillows and bedding are just sitting there on the dresser, because we don't want the big guy to get everything all dirty and, all that kind of stuff. That's no good if we're trying to show the house. Okay, flip cord. I tried a different one. Now this normally charges, and I know it charges, but I'm not getting a charging symbol. Sorry, again. Well, I'm going to do the best I can, and hopefully I don't lose you. Oh, but see, look it. So, but this is the part that's nice, is there's a tall enough fence that the dogs can actually be outside. Yep, so there's Poncho, our little rescue, our big rescue. Yeah. So we're kind of living in a weird little phase where technically we're back. Mark, do you mind picking up those little turds for me?
Yeah, I was going to do that.
That'd be nice, because they're showing up on the screen.
Well, we want them to eat those.
Well, that's reality when you have a little incontinent baby.
Someone usually eats them.
And then, of course, because Shiloh loves to be on the sofa, we have the sofa protected. Concho! Oh, I know that loud. It's so loud. Sorry, guys. Concho! Shh. That's too loud, baby. You hurt our ears. He's very excited. And so is Bobo. Bobo's very happy and healthy. Aren't you, Bobo? Here, Bobo, you going to look at everybody and say hi?
He's so excited, he's pooping.
Yep, so he's a rescue forever. Well, so what happened was when we left, we kept Bobo and we kept Concho, two fosters that were available for adoption, but when we left town, they became forever fosters. So that's the two of them. And then Shiloh, we're watching Shiloh for another woman who was, she has every intention of still getting him back, but she went through some difficult circumstances. So these three dogs are technically fosters, could be forever fosters. And so with the loss of Checkers, well, technically Checkers was forever foster too, but this is our sugar baby, is ours, and so is the Asher. Asher! He's officially adopted by us. And then so is Poncho in the backyard. But it's very strange for us to be down to like 3 personal dogs and 3 fosters. But it's not. I mean, it's quieter. It's more manageable. It's still frustrating, as you can hear. Oh, and then this dog bed. This is actually, Shiloh treats this like a dog toy. I just try to get him to not drag it around the house if sugar's in it. Poncho! Shh! That's horrible. No one wants to listen to that. Least of all me. All right. It's down. Yep. See, there he goes. He thinks it's a dog toy. Honey, it's a bed. Shiloh, it's a dog bed. He tried to do it with sugar in there. Sugar almost went for a ride, and then I told him to let go. Oh, that, and then the washer. I took the washer and dryer, and the shut-off valve for the water supply. The valve broke in the wall, so we had to have the plumber come out and open up the wall. So now we have to get that repaired. You know, I mean, stuff happens, right? It happens. It's life, right? I always have this expectation that if I fix something, it's going to last forever. Stop it. You're too loud. Sorry. Wow, that was way too loud. There's Poncho's little face. There we go. I found a place to plug it in, even though I'm just sitting on our little porch here. It is always something, isn't it? Yeah, your retriever moves his bed all around too. There we go. Yeah, so now I'm just sitting on the back porch. This house has a teeny little yard, which is why I would giggle when someone would say, "Can you keep the ducks?" Here, I'll stand up. I'll give you a nice survey view of the yard. It starts there. That's our bedroom window. And it goes out to there. And it continues there. At that point, it's only 15 feet from the porch. And it ends there. So that is the entire backyard. So that is why we're not able to bring any livestock with us. Yeah, we do too. We love that there was this potential for the dogs to have their own. Each of them could have their own fenced area. Shiloh needs something taller than 6 feet because he can jump 6 feet. And then and Poncho loved being on the farm. Even though he didn't get to run around free, he loved it. All the smells. Every time he went for a walk or got to go outside, he just looked like he was in doggy heaven. So that was really cute. And our neighbors have dogs. There's a Staffordshire Terrier diagonally. Let's see if I can point that way. That likes to sound like he's going to eat us. But other than that, it's pretty good. And, you know, I had expressed concern about our yard because there was miscommunication, and our son was well intended to come over and check the lawns once a week and water and the plants, but he's going to be a new dad, and they just got a new house, and he works full time, and so even though he was well intentioned, he actually hadn't been out here for like 4 or 5 weeks. And of course it was August heat in Texas, so we were pretty sure we were going to come back to fines from the HOA and, you know, completely dead landscape. But it turns out our neighbors, Kevin and Julie, next door neighbors, they had been coming over and mowing periodically and watering and keeping our plants alive for us. Is that incredible? It's just really, really a kind thing of them to do. So, yeah, so we got through that. One thing, and I was going to see if I could find it. Maybe it was a long time ago. Maybe a year ago, I think. I had done a video for Jay and Lauren. It was when they were on the old farm, and I was here, and I was mowing my lawn one day, because you could see it's not much to mow, right? And so I had joked about, I did like a parody of a 7-Eleven, and I showed them my farm, and we had one tree in the backyard at the time, and I told them that those were my woods, and I gave them a tour of my yard, and then I said, and here's my goats, and then I showed them the lawnmower, and if you saw the video, it was kind of funnier than it is with me just telling you about it. But yeah, so it was just, this is a far cry from a farm, but it's infinitely less work. And yeah, you know, this has been a lot of drama. It took a lot for me to come to a place where I accepted the fact that we would have to come back. Now, we have, so actually one of the things that's on our to-do list today, once I take care of some work things, is to maybe put together a nice gift basket for them or something, just because that's just completely above and beyond. I mean, we lived here when they first moved in, and I helped them. I mowed their lawn once or twice, maybe. But that was not a big deal. What they did was over a very long period of time, and just so generous. So, yeah, isn't that nice to have really, and it's not like we know them very well personally. They're just being really good neighbors. Oh, and then I think one time I talked about how there had been a really bad storm with, they had thought tornadoes had touched down, and if not, that there were some really bad straight winds. A number of the homes in our neighborhood, their roofs got blown off, and a bunch of fences were down. Well, it turns out our fence was down, too. I could show you this. And totally on their own, let me come around here, Kevin came over and propped the fence back up and did all this work. You can see there's one there, and then you can't see it's around the corner at the gate. And he got the fence back up. And so while the house was on the market, the fence wasn't down, which was another just really kind thing. And then when I offered, I was like, what, you know, I mean, I realize it's a shared fence between both our families, and they have a dog too that they want to keep in their yard, but still, they didn't even reach out to us for any money or even to let us know that they had done that. And so then I said, well, what do we owe you? And he's like, oh, I spent maybe $30 at Home Depot. It's not a big deal. We share the fence. It's not a big deal. So, yeah, just super, super sweet. Yeah. Oh, look at that guy. He is so happy to be outside. And it's actually quiet. It's so strange to be quiet. There he is. There's Poncho. Hi, Poncho. And it's actually probably only like in the high 80s right now. When we were trying to unload the truck, it was 97, 98, 99. I think it hit 100 and went back down. So just trying to do that ourselves in the heat. Oh my. We were cranky, and I didn't want to do it. It's like, it's too hot. I was all whiny. Because, you know, the temperatures in Pennsylvania were so nice and cool. We were waking up, and it was in the 50s. Which is magical, right? You can wear a sweater, and I'm like a total layer kind of a girl. I like to be all bundled up. But we got here, and I was like, no, it's an inferno. Ew. And then, of course, I get anxiety about the power bill because of the air conditioning, you know. Oh, I got to relive all that. But it was a short learning curve. I seem to have, well, it's not 100 degrees. I seem to have settled into it okay. Yeah, damp, cool, and rainy all week. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I don't like all that mud. I don't like the mud, especially when you have animals and they're indoor and outdoor. That's a lot. But it's nice having the cooler weather where you can walk outside and not just want to scream.
I had asked Lauren one time if she'd visit, and she's like, no way. I have to go nowhere near Texas. So I was like, it's not always hot. It's just when it is hot, you just don't even want to be alive. You're like, I'm good. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, so our son, our Josh and Cynthia, they invited us over last night to kind of welcome us back to town. So we got to see their new house, and that was very lovely of them. Exactly, pros and cons everywhere. Yeah, and then the thing that I remember when we lived in Indiana, and it was freezing cold in the winter, like around Christmas, there'd be football on, and I'd see people in Southern California and in Texas wearing T-shirts and no jacket, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. They could actually walk outside. Yep. So, but then in the summertime, I'd rather be in PA. But I officially don't want to be responsible for 2 properties anymore. That's too much. Yeah, so if some miracle happens and we had made the decision, we'd kind of talked to God and said we would leave the house on the market to the end of September, which seems kind of weird that we actually moved back and it was to the end of September. But you know, kind of same time, God's either going to sell the house or he's not going to sell the house. And so we were back, and then we didn't hear anything. I mean, because, you know, that was on the market for, 7 months, and we had, 3 records of people making appointments to see it, but 1 or 2 of them actually never showed up. There's only one confirmed showing that we got feedback on the house. And for that long of a time, it just seemed like we were just making ourselves miserable for no reason, trying to make that happen when it's not in our control. So it was just so ironic that we thought it was 3 showings, but it turns out the people that saw it yesterday, they had just changed their appointment from 1 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning. But of course it was 10 o'clock in the morning, and I had an appointment at 11, and that meant we had to get the dogs out of the house, blah, 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 which is why we went to Pennsylvania while it was on the market, because we didn't want to deal with trying to work from home and have dogs in the house while we were trying to sell it. No, we didn't. We don't have one. You asked about the St. Joseph statue. No, we don't, and we don't have one. But then we have another showing Monday, so we're my clothes are in boxes in a closet, a guest closet. So when I want to get dressed, I have to go to the garage for something, a top, go to the other closet and open the travel bag thing for shorts, and I just decided I'm not doing anything else about moving in until we stop having the showings. Yeah. So we don't know. I know what Mark said. Mark said at this point, if they want the house, we won't accept anything less than what our asking price is. And if they start negotiating, we're going to ask for more to offset the cost of having to move and move again. So it's kind of there. And now it's tugging a little bit at my heartstrings, just having seen my son in a new home and the idea of having a grandbaby and the idea of, now they're not that close. Technically it's only 13 miles away, but it can take almost an hour to get there just because there's no direct path. There's a lake between us and them, and you have to go around the lake either one way or the other way, and then either way you go is 2 major interstate highways, and they both get really busy with commuter traffic, and then also as a major interstate, lots of trucker traffic. So it gets really crazy. Like when we had to go take Checkers, when I first took him to the vet, because the vets, and that's the other part, is my veterinarian and the lady that founded the rescue, they all live closer to my son. And it was almost an hour to get there. Yeah, see, so all of a sudden I could have this little girl, and then since I work from home, and they both work full-time, both the parents will work full-time, that, you know, she could come by after school if she needed to or whatever, you know, like bake cookies with grandma, that kind of thing, which isn't something I ever thought I would want. So it's totally surprised me that I have this, like, you know, that little side of me that I never expected. Yeah, that too, and it's a lot of work on the farm. Like, just living there and taking care of it is a lot of work. Not to mention everything that would have to be done. You know, we didn't need it to be fancy, but we kind of need it to be clean and, like, structurally sound and, like, just finished. You know what I mean? Finished. So you don't feel like you're living in a construction zone. And we've done it before, you know, 20 years ago. But like I said, I have such an emotional attachment to the farm that's what trumped my decision before, was just that desire to be there and to be there on the farm and to be closer to Lauren and Jay and all the goaty goats too. Yeah. So, yeah, and Mark's almost finished with Sunday's message. He's been, in fact, I think he said he's down to just the last verse, and so we'll be there Sunday again. But yeah, I really didn't want to go live this past Sunday because we had slept with Checkers because I thought he was going to pass in the night, and so then we had to get up in the morning with Checkers not doing well and doing 7-Eleven. Not 7-Eleven, with doing the Hope Ministries. I was like, no, I really don't want to be on camera because I could just, like, completely fall apart. But yeah, Victoria, so that's what we're saying. If it sells, you know, we're conflicted about what to do because of, well, this was really exhausting getting back. And then now we know firsthand all the work it would take to finish that house to make it what we would call, like, something that we would want to live in, the house itself. And with the grandbaby being close here. No, he's not back to Walmart yet. He, like I said, last week, moving in the heat was really hard on us. Like, I can't even say how, because, you know, it was 100 degrees outside. And so when I'm inside that truck pulling stuff out, or we're trying to, you know, like, rearrange stuff in the garage, it had to be like 110, 120 inside the truck or inside the garage. And it really just kind of sucked the life out of us. We were just so exhausted. And then dealing with Checkers too. So he took time off. He's talked about going out and going to Walmart today later on. Yeah. So was that at least? I know that thing about Rocky. I know. I wish I was there. In fact, I still have all the things in the trunk of my car. Is I still have that little canister of cream that I put on his little head, and that got it to kind of all smooth over and heal. And I was thinking too, I was like, oh man, if I was there, I would just, you know, feed him more treats and rub his little head. But you guys, I saw what all that effort that Jay is putting into trying to, you know, like physical therapy so he doesn't have muscle atrophy. And it made it a special trip to get him those apples, so that made my heart feel good, just seeing him get the care that, you know, I can't do now. Yeah. Exactly, and the trip, you're right, you're absolutely right, Tammy, and then the trip itself was exhausting. Just that much driving, you know, and for me doing it straight because of the dogs. And then getting here and not being able to have the things I needed to care for them, I was like, seriously, oh my goodness. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And Checkers declining and that new puppy, just, I mean, all over the place too. So I couldn't feed Shiloh because the puppy would do it. So then I would put Shiloh's food like up on a box where Shiloh could get it. Well, the puppy could jump on anything he wanted to. So yeah. But he's so cute, little Teddy. Now, if you follow the rescue or whatever, Holly did say we get so many little dogs named Teddy, right? Or named other popular dog names that we do try to have them have a unique name while they're in rescue. And so his name in rescue will probably change. Now that, in fact, I haven't reached out to Holly in the last couple of days. He may already have a different name. How many hours of driving? So I got on the road at 10:20 in the morning on Sunday, and except for stopping for gas, I stopped one time for 2 hours somewhere in Arkansas, I think. And I got here at 10:30, 11 the following day in 1 hour time zone. So I think it was around 20, I forget now, like 24-ish hours of actual, except once you deduct the 2 hours that I stopped and slept. So yeah, so 24 hours of just driving, getting gas and driving, because I didn't stop and eat. I had the dogs, so I can't leave them in the car. I had to stay with them. And in fact, I kept telling them when they would get whiny in the car, I'd be like, I'm in it with you guys. Yep, we're all just eating and tired of being in the car. But there we went. We just kept driving. But Mark did stop because he had the trailer. He had to drive much more slowly. And he only had Poncho, so he was able to find a hotel for one night and break up the drive, which he needed to do everything because he had the truck and the trailer. So we got through that. But, yeah, and walking in and, still waking up and being able to take a bath because I needed to not use the bathtub at the farmhouse because there was just concerns about that corner, the structural corner, and the weight of the water, and it was a huge cast iron tub. So, and I like a bath, I like to be in the water. I used to like to swim and just be in the water all the time. So as an adult, since I can't go to the beach, I'm known for even working from the bathtub, but don't tell anybody. But I've built models from the bathtub. I try not to take phone calls or Zoom or anything where someone could hear the water splash and it would give me away. But I know I worked on my master's degree from the bathtub a lot. That's true, Cheryl. Yeah, time with Grandma. But and I'm probably gone on for a long time. I don't know how long this live has gone on. I don't know if it tells me. I'm trying to see if it does. It doesn't really. So, yeah. So that was nice. I even asked Mark too. I said, because he said something about the biggest difference about being back home now was, it wasn't the bathtub. Why am I drawing a blank on what he said? Oh, I'm a bad wife. I didn't listen. I know I listened at the time, but now I can't think of what it was. I have to ask him. 49 minutes. Okay, so I've been yammering on a long time. So I hope I'm not boring you. But for only 2 weeks, it feels like it's been 2 months. Honestly, it really feels like it's been 2 months. Yeah. Shoot, what was it? I know one of the things that we really appreciate about this house is all the doors work. Like if you close the door, you can just use a handle and open the door, and it'll latch. So if you close the door, it'll stay closed. It doesn't just push back open. That part's really nice because only Aiden's bedroom door and Murph's door worked like that. The other doors were in disrepair, so that was tricky. Worried about us. I was worried about us. Yeah. Plus, I just take it so hard. I wish it wasn't like that. In fact, I get sometimes I get really embarrassed because I really lose my marbles when I go through grief. And when I have to go through grief while under other stress too, yeah, I kind of completely fall apart. And sometimes for like longer than I think is healthy. Just being totally honest about that. Yeah. And even or in public, if someone tries to say some condolences or say something nice, I almost just don't say anything at all, because if I start to say something, then and I don't just cry, like I bawl, I wail, I scream, it's like a combination of grief and anger, where I just lose it. Thank you, Tammy. I mean, when we bought this, we felt like it had, a good concept. It's nice and open, and the ceilings are tall, which is totally, from the outside, you wouldn't expect it. From the outside, you would think, oh, it's an older house. It probably only has really low ceilings. And you go inside, and some of the ceilings are 10 feet, which is a beautiful surprise when you come inside. But the paint color, it was all the finishes on the inside. Well, the finishes were one thing. Everything was just kind of like either brown paper bag or spicy brown mustard, yellowish. So even the reflection, you could get no good light in it, because everything made you look sallow in those colors. And it was when you try to hit a certain color, but then it's a miss. And so it's so if you were going after kind of the spicy brown mustard, some of the actual tiles were more peachy, and then some of them were more yellowy, sallowy. And so between the floor color, the cabinet color, the marble countertop color, the backsplash color, and the paint color, it was just a whole lot of ugly, layers of unpleasant colors and then the color of the light, the color temperature, the Kelvin of the light didn't help. And no matter how much I adjusted the color of the light, I couldn't make it. But getting the walls all painted has helped. And I don't know since I don't know what's going to happen, I'm not making any plans right now. I've been trying to just pour my energy into doing a good job at work and get through this. How old is the old farmhouse? Okay, so the farmhouse is on record is 1900, but when Justin and the Brit went to I forget the name of the place they went to, a historical society or something, they found records of it being there back in, I think, 1870, 1860, something like that. And of course it's the original stone house is the same, but it's evolved. There was additions at the back, one that happened earlier, and then they did another addition. I want to say it was in 1960s-ish, something like that. Another time is when they enclosed. There used to be a balcony above that little porch area, and they enclosed that. But there used to be lots of other outbuildings too. There used to be a nice stone barn on there that actually was only taken down a few years before Justin and Lauren bought it. It used to have a summer kitchen. It used to have an outhouse. A few other things that aren't there anymore. So really, of the original features of the home, to my knowledge, the only thing is the original stone house that's still there. Yeah. Oh, I was just saying about the house. So this house, one was the materials that they used to finish it that was just really unpleasant. You can do that, but in today's economy, you have to really think twice about how much you're going to invest in that, especially when we're considering selling, because we wouldn't recover that kind of money. And the second part was, it's typical builder cheap materials, so hollow core doors, which bugs the caca out of me. And then they just, they get these pre-hung doors in these cheap frames, and the screws are really shallow, so I had to go back through and then use longer screws, so the door is actually screwed through the jamb into the stud, so it wouldn't just suddenly rip off the wall. in using MDF for baseboards, so the minute it gets wet, it just, you know, kind of bubbles up and puckers and flakes off. You can't really sand and fill MDF. It doesn't really work that way. But we made the most of what we have with this one, and it looks nice now. Like I said, I get more frustrated with the location because it's really not close to anything that I do that's outside of the home. You know, like see my kids, or most of my rescue work would involve driving to the vet. The area is called Garland, where my kids live, and where we call it Palm Central. The original Palm Central is my friend Sherry's house. So, so that's ideal. But hey, Cheryl Fuchs, and plus we are getting older. I don't know if I shared this before. My sister has lupus, and she can't drive anymore. And she's this amazing woman, and she's this incredible mom, and now she's a grandma, and she still works from home. And it kills me that I get to see her more often. And I had this random thought. I'm like, oh, well, Las Vegas it's not, because I don't want to move to California. I couldn't afford it, for one, and politically I couldn't make it anymore. It's hard enough biting my tongue these days anyway, like it is for everybody, right? Like, you can't just say what you really think for fear you're going to offend people, and then other people say things so boldly that you're like, wow, that kind of hurt my feelings. So that makes it less desirable too. But I was like, hey, Cheryl Fuchs is in Vegas, and we used to, when I lived in Southern California, drive to Vegas for the weekend. I thought, I could drive to Southern California and spend the weekend with my sister, and since she can't drive, I could take her wherever she wants to go. Let her. She used to like to go for walks. We have this really. She lives in Thousand Oaks and Westlake Village. It's just across into the Ventura County line from LA, inland from Malibu, and so there's a nice indoor mall there. So regardless of weather and everything, exactly, Cheryl. So regardless of weather, she liked to go inside and go for walks and stuff. So I could go out there and take her to go for walks or that kind of thing, you know. Yeah. Hi, Janet. Wow, it's so peaceful here. The dogs are all inside and sleepy. Kind of nice. Yeah. Oh, you grew up in Simi Valley. We lived in Simi Valley briefly. In fact, Mark's sister lives in Simi now. And you're just an hour south of Dallas. Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Thank you, Tina. That's really nice to say. No, Mark has not gotten a new job yet. He applied for a job online, and then either today or Monday he's going to actually go visit a couple of the Walmarts and see. It's almost impossible to get in touch with anybody at a Walmart over the phone anymore, and so he's going to go in person like what he did in PA. Lorraine says, did you hear that Jade found a sanctuary for the ducks? I did hear something about the ducks they did find a home for the ducks. Yeah, it's not really a transfer. It's more like you go and you find another Walmart that has a position, an opening, and then you reach out to them. Wait, Christy, your aunt and uncle and cousins live in Thousand Oaks? Where do they live in Thousand Oaks? I mean, I was born in West Hills in the San Fernando Valley, and so except for a few years as a young child where we lived in Oklahoma and in the desert for a little bit, most of my growing up from first grade through high school was all in Thousand Oaks. Oh, New Jersey. New Jersey. I'm so glad they're gonna get a home. It was fun watching when Justin went live from the old farm. Was that yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Yeah. They're so cute. Yeah, and then Kim, you just posted that video too of the ducks. I love seeing them up close, eating and just swimming, just being ducks, doing what ducks do. Really very cool. Oh, that's so great. Okay, that's right. Uses the eggs for baking. Yep. I never did that because I didn't have the room to bake there. Yeah. I'm just glad they're going to get a home. A really good home. Thank you. Yeah, let's see what else here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I saw where Jay kept saying there was 9 ducks, and you guys were all like, no, it's 10 ducks. And he's like, kept going saying, 9 ducks, 9 ducks. I'm like, but Sebastian, because I watched it on replay. Because with the heat, like I said, it's been really hard, and so my insomnia has been really bad, too. So then trying to wake up for 6:11 in Texas time has been, I usually have been waking up at 7-ish Texas time and like catching the last 5 minutes of it and then watching it on replay when I get a break later in the day. Yeah. They're so pretty. Yeah. And that's Sebastian. He's so beautiful, but he's not a very friendly duck. He doesn't make a very good friend. Well, he's a good friend to the other little brown ducks. Yeah, very much so. In South Florida, oh yeah, so you do understand heat. Even though it's once in a while it's humid here. That's the crazy thing about Texas is sometimes it's humid heat and sometimes it's dry heat. And I'm a desert girl, so the dry heat, yeah, it can be hot as Hades, but you don't have that sticky. I call it the wilt. When I go out in the humidity, I just feel like everything just wilts. You end up just being this like soggy gummy bear of a human being walking around sticky. Yeah. Megan! Hi! Hi, my dear. Yeah, it was so hard leaving, especially that last 2 days, because there was so much that had to get done, that I knew I wasn't going to make it if I pulled myself away from the task at hand. So I just buried myself in packing and like shedding stuff. Like even my kids, they're like, "Oh, did you bring the sofa back?" Because my daughter wanted the sofa. I was like, "No." She's like, "Mom, that was such a nice sofa." I'm like, "Oh, it's nice, but it was older." She's like, but, and I'm like, "Well, honey, it was too much. We didn't keep it." Yep, always a good hair day. It's so true. Well, except though, sometimes when it's super dry, then like with my hair texture, I get the frizzies like big time, and all those little flyaways and the little regrowths. Like you can see, I almost always have this like bizarre little halo of hair, which is annoying. It's not annoying, except that I always have like a few that will like tickle my face. Mark says my hair is itchy. It's every length. All those little guys. I can't believe, was Poncho still out? I was going to see if he was still out here enjoying it. Did he go back in? Nope, he's still out in sunshine. Let's see if I can show you. Yep, he's still enjoying the sunshine. Hi, Poncho. Oh, here, I have to get out here. Hi, Poncho. Hi, big guy. Hi. Hi, sweetie. So So big dog, and look at the tiny little doggy door. He squeezes through that like he's a toothpaste coming out of a tube. Totally funny. Huh, Poncho? Yes, he's very handsome. You know, and I was all about having the chow chow, but the longer we've had him, the more we're convinced he does have Akita in him, and the shedding, that's something I don't tolerate well. And people always say, but you have long hair, you have all those Pomeranians. Well, they shed in, like, I always call them tumbleweeds, because you get these like little puffs of fur that stay together, and they kind of tumble, and you can just reach over and pick one up here or there. A couple might roll under something, and you grab them. It's not a big deal. But when you have more short hair, like his or like Shiloh's, and they shed, it's like this layer of short hair everywhere, and they're stick straight, so they can like, oh, look, he's being cute. Pacho. Hi, buddy. Yeah. Exactly. Just keep grooming them and brushing them. Sometimes I take them outside. Let's see who's inside now. We're still alive. Back inside. Oh, there's the other one. Yes, doggy confetti. Oh, Bobo's giving me the business. Pacho. All right, so we're back inside. Oh. I spot Asher. Hi, Ashman. Are you going to be cute? Are you going to be cute? Hi. Hi. So, and then he started coughing, which has made me nervous. Oh, so, Shiloh had to get in the picture again. Bobo, why are you giving us the business? Huh? Why are you giving us the business? Well, I tell you, I think they're extra happy because since my gates were all locked up, I had no way to kind of segregate the dogs. So they've all just been on a free-for-all lately. Poncho! Oh, he ran off. Here he goes. So for a dog that's paralyzed, he gets around pretty good. As long as he has some place where he can have some traction. See, now there goes Shiloh. He's going to grab it and don't hurt him. Good boy, Shiloh. He's hitting me with his tail. Whack, 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 whack. Yep. So yeah. Shh, Poncho. Hi, baby. Say hi to everybody. Good boy. Say hi. Poncho. Up, 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 up. Up, up, up. Good boy. Now you can see him. You're gonna give me grr. Gonna go grr. Grr. Nope, no grr. Hi. It's Poncho. Yep. And Mark working on Hope Ministry stuff. Hi, Marky. Say hi to everybody again.
Hi, everybody again.
Yep. So I think that'll about do it. Oh, we got Ashman's back over here again. Yep, there they go. I'm going to go back out to the front yard where we started this little visit. Yeah, when he left that Walmart, Kim, they were really nice and said they were sorry to see him go. In fact, they were even super cute. He gave notice, but they went ahead and left him on the schedule, and they're like, well, just in case plans change, you can just come in, which I thought that was very sweet. They didn't just automatically take him off the list. So very, very, very cute. Yeah. Anyway, so I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for coming, checking this out, and for putting up with all the shenanigans in the beginning, with all the drama, with all my talking about checkers and then the phone dying and then yeah, so I was trying to tell my story. Looks like I need to get back out here and now that the trunk is empty, finish emptying it, get all those stinky things out of my car. I love you guys very much. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day and a good weekend as we go into the weekend. And yeah, and I'll stay in touch. Enjoy seeing your comments on Jay's lives as well. So it's very nice. Bye.